This is the BGG Climbers list for the week ending 1/19/2022. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. I'll include links in the description below if you want to take a look at the list or subscribe to it, or if you want to see these games in more detail. So let's get into the list. I'm going to start with the sub 10 games real quick. So one is Boon Lake. This has been trending to like high sevens. I don't think it's had a strong enough uptake yet. It is an Alexander Pfister game, but I feel like his I guess the Great Western Trail new games have kind of taken a bigger audience than Boon Lake. So we'll see how this does, but I think it's unlikely to get in the top 100. I think it's going to land probably in the top 500 games, or probably maybe even the top 200. Let's see. So we had Bitoku. So I've been watching this one. This is interesting. It kind of started out a little bit weak, but it's really been picking up since then. Done a number of ratings in the last few weeks. We're up to 763 ratings, and it's been staying slightly above 8. So I originally didn't think this was going to have a chance of making the top 100, but let's see how it does as more people play it. Let's see here. So Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. So this is slowed down a little bit. I mean, it was a very big release. There's a lot of controversy on it. I do think it's going to average below an 8.0, which means if it gets in the top 100, it's barely going to get in there. I think the top 100 cuts off in like the 7.5 to 7.8, depending on how many ratings there are, obviously. So we'll see. It is at 346 right now, but there's been a number of games like Dune Imperium and Lost Ruins of Arnak that have skyrocketed up the list last year, and Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition, unfortunately, was not one of those. Radlands. So this is a game we've been watching. We'll see it. I think it's assuming there's enough copies of this available. It's from Roxley Games, so there should be. I think there'll be, there's probably going to be a retail release if there hasn't been already. I think this one has a really good chance of getting in the top 100. People really like the game. I mean, if you're at 1,000 ratings and you're averaging above an 8.5 still or an 8.4 still, that's really good. So I think this has a really good chance of at least getting in the top 100. And Dune Imperium. So this game has been a huge success last year. It's already number 18. I think this has a good chance of entering the top 10 in 2022. It's already got 15,000 ratings. I think it's going to continue to do really well. It already has its first expansion. It has an upgrade pack. I don't know if the upgrade pack's available yet, but it's coming. It's going to make the game look a lot better. I think the look of the game was its main detraction. And hopefully I'll have some videos here in the future as we get a chance to play it. I haven't played this game yet myself. And Great Western Trail, obviously it will be, I mean, it's assuming enough people rate it, it will be in the top 100. I think that's a no-brainer. So number 10 is Return to the Dark Tower. So I think this is the first time we've seen this on the list. It's the Restoration Games remake of the classic Dark Tower game, re-implements Dark Tower. This game was a huge Kickstarter, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and a sequel. So it has the same, I guess, Electronic Tower-ish. I watched some playthroughs when the game was being, I guess, pitched on Kickstarter. I didn't end up backing it. I didn't think it was right for me, but I do think that a lot of people, and I never played the original Dark Tower game. Maybe if I did, I'd be more interested in it, but I think for a lot of people, they've been wanting to get this game for a long time, and this is the opportunity to get this classic game that's been re-implemented with a really cool. I mean, I will say, the Dark Tower is a really cool thing on the table. The board kind of reminds me of Dune. I guess it's the circular board aspect, but I do think that for me, I prefer. I don't know. I just prefer. I think when I've looked back at games that are old and kind of remade, typically I don't like them as much as I remember. So I just kind of leave them in the. In the basket of let's keep the memories and not trash them by playing a new game or a new version of the game. So that is Return to the Dark Tower. I do think this one probably is not going to hit the top 100. But let's see. I think that's just kind of a gut feeling based on maybe my personal preferences. So number 9 is the Crew Mission Deep Sea. This is going in the top 100. It's going to be there very soon. It's already at 146, maybe 2 more months. And I also saw that this was one of the top selling games on Game Nerds last year, which is not surprising. The Crew was an amazing game. The Crew Mission Deep Sea is supposed to be even more amazing. It's going to do well. This one may even break the top 10. I think it's possible. So the Crew Mission Deep Sea, number 9. Number 8, we talked about this last week. This is Uprising Curse of the Last Emperor. We just put up our video with a 4-person playthrough of the game. It did take the full 4 hours, but it didn't take more than 4 hours of the playtime on the box, which is great. There was a couple minor goofs in terms of the rules. Overall, my game group has really liked this game. I think I may be putting together a review eventually after we get enough playthroughs of it. But the quick summary is, if you want a 4X cooperative game, maybe your game group wants to play 4X games, but you don't like the kind of in-your-face battling, of games like Twilight Imperium, or even the direct competition of a game like Eclipse, 2nd edition. This could be something to look at. One of the things I really liked about it was you got to roll a lot of dice. And I feel like in a lot of games, you just don't roll. I don't know, I guess I feel like now, especially nowadays, you're not rolling enough dice. This game has you rolling a lot of dice. There are some, you have to take calculated risks like any sort of cooperative game. And there is a strategy which our group, I don't think we had it figured out in the game we recorded, but we're going to come back and hopefully do a much better job with the strategy part in our next game. So that's number 8, Uprising Curse of the Last Emperor. Number 7, Adventure Z Volume 1 Lovecraft. So I don't even know anything about this game yet. It probably is a Kickstarter game. Oh, maybe not. Cooperative game, theme Cthulhu Mythos, obviously. Narrative game for 2 players. So, okay, I guess I thought it would have been Kickstarter, but maybe not. So you're going to play 1 or 2 investigators and to solve a case in the, Lovecraftian world, which has become very popular, I think, around the Arkham Horror series and in those games. So I think this is going to be popular with a lot of people that like Arkham Horror, that want more of a narrative adventure, which I guess these narrative adventure games have really become very popular in the last few years. As far as the look of the game, it looks pretty simple. It looks kind of like this one isn't going to cost a huge amount. It's a small box, or fairly small box game. Some standees, and like a flip book, it looks like, with the story and maybe the maps and stuff to move your characters around on. So we'll see how this one does. It is getting a decent number of ratings out of the gate. Fairly mixed, I guess. So probably not going to see this in the top 100, but we'll give it a few weeks and see. So that's number 7, Adventura Z Volume 1 Lovecraft. So number 6 is Nemesis Lockdown. So this is the latest Nemesis game. Its deliveries have just started or people have just started rating it, which means the deliveries to backers have just started. This is essentially Nemesis version 1.5. I think it adds some new mechanics, maybe refines a little bit of the gameplay, but I think it's going to be very similar Nemesis experience. I do think that people that didn't like Nemesis probably aren't going to bother with this game, and that probably will cause it to have a higher overall rating. Also, the fact that a lot of people couldn't even get Nemesis in its first print run, so this may be their first opportunity to play it. I think it's likely this will end up the top 100 just because Nemesis was such a big success. I think it's maybe one of the best semi-co-op games I've played. Normally I'm not a big fan of semi-co-op, but I think it works well in this. It works very thematically, and the game itself is very tense. Like, it's a very, I don't know, you definitely feel fearful of the aliens and fearful of doing stuff, which it's hard. I feel like it's hard for a board game to invoke that, but this game does an extremely great job of doing such thing. So this is number 6, Nemesis Lockdown. Number 5, we also saw last week, Caper Europe. So the new ratings have gone up a little bit, which has pushed this rating up. It's hard to predict where this is going to land. I think We're gonna have to give it a few more weeks. 2-player games tend to not do as well, but we're also during a pandemic, and a lot of people are only willing to play with the people in their house, which may only be another person. So uh, that may be a good opportunity for this game to shine. So that's Caper Europe, number 5. Number 4 is Townsfolk Tussle. So um, this game, backers must just be getting it. I've heard from some reviews of this that it's compared to like a Kingdom Death Monster or KDM Light. It's not a super heavy game, but it has a similar feel to KDM. I do like the artwork on this game a lot. I think this style of drawing really works well with this game. The miniatures, I mean, I don't have my hand. They look okay. They look really good when they're painted. Wow, that looks amazing. So I guess if you're a miniature painter, you should paint your miniatures for this game. And as far as the gameplay, it's basically a boss battler. So it's a cooperative boss battler where you're going to go through and you're going to kind of play through this scenario where you're going to battle different bosses. Now, one thing that Tom Vassal mentioned is that the first boss tends to be the hardest, and it gets a little bit easier as you get items and stuff and build up your characters, which I guess is okay, but it's also a little bit, I guess, different than maybe a similar game like uh, Too Many Bones, where I feel like the game does get harder as you go along. So, and I will say this game is a lot less complex. There is dice rolling, there's equipment and stuff, and I think that it's gonna get good reviews. I think the only question is it gonna be liked well enough to get in the top 100? So we'll see. I mean, its rating has come down a little bit, but I do think it's still a. I mean, for my game, from the times I played it, it's been I think a good boss battler. We just have to see how far it goes up the list. So that's number 4, Townsfolk Tussle. Number 3 is Merchants of the Dark Road. So I think this showed up a couple weeks ago, maybe not. But this is essentially a pick up and deliver game with a bunch of other mechanisms. The game itself looks amazing. So this is done by Elf Creek Games. I mean, these carriages, the metal tokens, the little pieces, the artwork looks amazing. The reviews for it, I've heard some people really like it, and some people think it's kind of mixed in terms of gameplay. So, and you can watch a Dice Tower review for it, but the gist I got from it is that if you like pick up and deliver, this is a great pick up and deliver game. If you don't like pick up and deliver, you're probably still not going to like it. Playing Merchants Dark Road. And I also, I think this part of the board, there was a part of the board, I think over here on the right, that was kind of, they said could have been smaller or not part of the game at all to save some table space. But other than that, I think the game does look amazing. I know backers have been waiting a long time for this game. I almost backed it actually because I thought it looked so amazing. With most of the things I didn't back, I'm glad I didn't back it because I don't think it's going to fit with my playstyle and my group's playstyle. But I do think it's going to do fairly well on this list. Now, it is getting, out of the gate, it's getting mid-7s ratings, which probably means it's not destined for the top 100, but maybe like top 250 or so. So that's Merchants of the Dark Road. Number 3. Number 2 is Cora Quest. So it got 120 ratings last week, and it's got an 8.79 for the new rating. So this is huge. What is this game? Cooperative and customizable dungeon crawl for the entire family. 2.11 weight. And is this a web published? Bright Eye Games. Interesting. So let's actually take a look at the website for this game. Cora Quest. How to play. They have a little video. Do you fancy making a board game? It's so excited. What is Cora Quest? It's a dungeon crawling cooperative family board game for 1 to 4 players. Control 4 Four adventurers exploring a dungeon, avoiding traps, fighting monsters, and sometimes recruiting gnomes called Kevin. It's playable straight out of the box. However, players have modified and custom the game if they want to. Interesting. So, play online, print and play, customize core quest. That is cool. So, is this just a print and play game? Wow. And you can play online. So this is really cool. I'm gonna have to check out this game for sure. So this is kids must have sent for all the world by a wonderful core quest community and brought by chief color in Gary King to make unique and charming looking game. So let's see what these comments say on this. Played on Tabletopia. Gameplay is solid, not only for younger audience, but also thoroughly enjoyable for supervising adults as well. Wow. Okay. So this was a Kickstarter a year ago, received January. So I guess maybe they did a full printing of this that you could also get from Kickstarter. So I think this one's a very interesting one to look at if you have kids. I'm gonna have to take a look at this later as well. It looks like a really cool game, and it looks like it's getting really strong reviews out of the gate, which is great for a project that clearly was I guess I would say Kickstarter that was really gets the roots of Kickstarter, which was bringing projects to life that normally wouldn't have seen the light of day, and is someone's passion project, I would say. So take a look at Core Quest. I'll hope to see this on the future weeks, and hopefully something like this can actually make it in the top 100. It'd be amazing. Number 1 is Ark Nova. So we've talked about this one before. A lot of people, like Tom Vassell, I think, said that this replaces Terraforming Mars for him. It means I got to play it, but it is doing amazingly well. 8.77 out of 1,881 ratings. I think this is 100% going top 100. I think top 50 is almost certain, and we might even see this game in the top 20 by the end of 2022 because I think the US release is coming real soon. I saw a bunch of pre-orders available for it on various sites, and that should bump up the ratings a lot more, and people should be able to get their hands on this game a lot easier. So there you have it. That is the BGG Climbers list for the week ending 1/19/2022. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe, and please take a look at our other videos. Thank you.